Hello, and welcome back to Cosmic Spark. This is Tando, and I'm back again outside. The lighting was amazing last time I was here, so I thought I would do it again. Um, Alrighty, so today we're going to be talking about what I hate about Scorpio. Seeing as we are nearing the end of Scorpio season, I thought for once I could be topical. Um, let's begin. Scorpio is the eighth sign of the zodiac. It is co-ruled by Mars and Pluto. So that gives it aggression, deep, dark, underworld energy, all of that sort of stuff. So we are in the relational quadrant of the zodiac in the eighth sign. What do I think are the negative aspects of Scorpio? Stubbornness. That's the first thing that I think of. Hard-headedness, just like Aries, who is also ruled by Mars, not co-ruled, but just ruled by Mars. Scorpio men and women are extremely hard-headed about whatever it is that they believe life is supposed to be. They have experienced life's darkness, the deep, the depths, um, and come out of it feeling like, I think I really understand what's going on. I don't know about all of you guys. Some of you want to pretend like life is rainbows and fairy tales, but I know the real truth. I know which of you are lying to yourselves. I know who's cheating. I know who's doing what and what not. And so the way that I've calculated my moves makes sense for the harsh realities of the world. That's kind of the energy that Scorpio brings. I find Scorpio men to be a lot more exuding darkness. Sometimes, if you're lucky, Scorpio women will exhibit that dark, gothic, dark goddess aesthetic. However, I've actually experienced a lot more blonde Scorpio women, and then just like the archetype you expect in Scorpio men. I find personally that Scorpio, that like darkness, I can read a lot quicker in men. I find it to be nearing the surface. I think Scorpio women, because of being socialized as women, can bury their darkness between layers, or sorry, underneath layers of social niceties and ability to play the game. Scorpio people in general aren't, they don't have these fake, flimsy personalities. However, can there be fakeness? I would say, in a sense. I think Scorpio women in particular are just craftier. They're craftier than the men. I think women in general are better at foresight because we've got better developed frontal lobes. And I think Scorpio women can run a good game on friends and lovers, and it's because they have such a suspicious nature, but they're smart enough to know the cues on how to operate in certain environments so they can really play the long game. How else could they play the long game, if they don't try to assimilate more? I find Scorpio women are better socially because they know how to react socially. I find the men are a lot more individualistic in terms of, if you're looking at a group of people, many of the people will be very similar. I find Scorpio men are better at standing out. They have a little bit of the contrarian energy that Aquarius has. Um, they're just way more emotional, right? And so the negative energy in terms of my experiences with Scorpio women is there's a certain social calculation about who you are in their life, and if you no longer serve their longing, if you no longer serve their financial goals, if you're no longer the right contact for them to get this job that, really in the long term is what they want, they can discard you. Um, what's worse is if a Scorpio woman has a grudge against you, because then they are likely going out of their way to do a smear campaign. I feel like Scorpios just have the time of day. They have the time of day to stalk. Both the men and women do it. They have the time of day to carry out these long, thought out, complicated plans of revenge. Now, before we get into the revenge, let's back to the men. Scorpio men are sensitive and emotional. They tend to be more sensitive than their male peers. They are, but they're not weak. And because of the co rulership, there is this, they still exude traditional masculinity. I find Scorpio men don't always care about how they look physically, like how they dress. Some of them can be a little bit more anal than others. Um, but physically, they look very masculine. They feel very masculine. And then there's this side of them that really, really rules them, because ultimately they're a water sign and therefore feminine. So there's this great ocean of emotion that's always simmering right beneath the surface. You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it when they flirt with you. You can feel it when they test you. Yes, they like to think they're slick. Okay, it could be because, so I am a Libra sun, but as I always say, when you've got signs next to each other in the zodiac, you're bound to have some energies of the sign next door. Now, you wouldn't think I have Scorpio in like super prominent areas, but I think Scorpio is such a pervasive sign. So I have a Scorpio Pallas Athena in Scorpio, which means the way that I study, the way that I strategize, the way that I investigate that arena is very much Scorpio energy. I also have part of fortune in a Scorpio. So there's a lot of no, sorry, not in Scorpio, in the eighth house. So I do gain a lot of joy, pleasure, goodwill from being like investigative or leaning into those traits. And so, as someone who has dated Scorpio men, they test you. They test you. It's not, they want to be mysterious because they have a lot of secrets. And a lot of their secrets touch very deep, sensitive spots. They will not, there's no Scorpio man or woman who wants to let you in on their deep, sensitive spots without some sort of clearance. And it might take 20 years for you to reach the level of clearance that is required for them to let you in on this one little thing. But there will be tests emotionally all the time. I have dated, so it's Libra and Scorpio men the most out of the entire zodiac, so I am well aware. But yes, there's an instinctual nature to anyone that is Martian or Plutonian, and so their reactions are very innate. And even if they pride themselves so much on their self control. I know that sometimes it must be so hard for them to be a water sign because they want to be in control of everything, but their emotions really guide their life decisions, their path, their innate response, you know? And so I think, yeah, Scorpio men kind of have doe eyes in a sense. Maybe not exactly in the shape, but in the way that it comes across to me as someone who does have a little bit of that scorpionic energy. Um, they always look, there's a sense of like they could cry if you press the wrong button. But really, what it is they do have a lot of control. But if you were to press the wrong combination at the wrong time or after a long build up, the ocean that will erupt. Think about water crashing on the rocks or like some sort of deep bellow coming from the bowels of the ocean. And then there's just like a massive spray of water out of the ocean in the middle of nowhere, just like a volcano just erupted deep in there. That's the level of energy, depth, anger, fuel, darkness that lies beneath the surface. There is family trauma for most Scorpios, especially Scorpio moons, especially, but both Scorpio suns and Scorpio moons. Um, what do I hate about Scorpio? The secrets. I hate secrets because I'm a psychic, I'm a Libra. I want honesty when it comes to communication. I want all cards on the table because I will give you all my cards on the table. So I don't like it because personally, I think a Scorpio might be really good at hiding what the secret is, depending on what kind of person you are. But if you're more perceptive, you'll know that there is one. And for someone like me, that gets my goat. For someone like me, dating a Scorpio means having my tarot cards all the time and figuring out things beneath the surface. And for me, the thing is, Scorpio is naturally a psychic sign. The Scorpio men that I've encountered and had romantic dalliances with, I know they were dreaming about me. I know they were learning about me in real time through their dreams. I know that they were getting hints about where they are psychologically in response to me through their dreams. And that's something I can relate to because that's how I work, baby. If I don't figure it out in the cards, sometimes I don't even seek out information. When it comes in my dreams, it is like the universe dropping a little gem and just going, hey boo, just thought you should know. I wasn't even thinking about it, but now I am, right? And so, if you're with a Scorpio, like on the other end of that, if you're interested, if you're dating a Scorpio, just know that this is the energy of a sleuth. This is the energy of someone who smells secrets, trauma, um, that kind of energy. They will figure you out. You think you want to hide, you think you want to give selective information, they will figure you out. They will confront you because they are not afraid of confrontation, especially if they care, and that's it. Where the men are concerned, though this could be the women too, so even though I speak to men and women, I'm also drawing off of like both knowledge that star signs aren't the same across masculine and feminine, and also my personal experience, but know that it could relate to any of them. Like, I don't think it's that strict. But when it comes to Scorpio men, and I know some of the women as well to an extent, they board themselves up from love and self sabotage repeatedly because of one traumatic incident they had with a particular lover, or with their parents, or with something that predates you. They will start dealing with you, start falling for you, lie to themselves about it, lie to you about it, and self sabotage the whole thing in real time, in your face, especially if you're someone like me who has been open to really loving and accepting a Scorpio man in your life. You will know that you offered and you bared your heart, and something in him was so self protective, something in him didn't trust himself again, something in him was like, I don't know about this. And he said, I can't do that. There was just this one girl in the past, and ever since, it's been crazy, and I don't trust people. I can't do it. If that's what you want from me, I can't do it. And then what follows that is they don't forget. Just as they have long memories for revenge, they have long memories for strong emotional connections. You have a strong emotional connection with a Scorpio, even if you never speak to them again, they remember you. They think about you. They might dream of you. They might make art inspired by you. They might write sonnets about you. You don't know. And so, dealing with Scorpio men can look like, when they're unhealed, them leading you on. It can look like them not letting you go and coming back to you over and over again, unwilling to commit, unwilling to let you go, unwilling to watch you be in love, but not knowing how to deal with it themselves, unwilling to get therapy because it involves talking about the things they don't want to talk about. It's like, I've gone through things so deep and so dark, no one else is going to understand, except Boo, some people do understand because you're not the only one to have ever suffered in life. People struggle. It's not unique to you. There's a certain level, there are unions and connections that could have been all over the world, not just with me, that didn't happen because the Scorpio got too in their heads about what it means for them. They never fully recovered from having their heart broken once. They're so sensitive. So many Scorpio men and women, especially the men, are bullied, especially like in those formative years. Um, Sex and desire. Scorpios are ruled by their desire in one way or another. And I know a Scorpio is listening to this and going, I'm not ruled by my desire. But if you are the kind of Scorpio that's like, I don't have sex because I know what people, you know, I'm sick of being treated like a piece of meat. And I have sex only in these very rigid circumstances with this like five, only when these five things have been ticked off will I have sex. But in general, like if you're one of those Scorpios, you are also ruled by your desire. You are ruled by the fact that you feel like it could overwhelm you. You feel like people could be unable to control themselves around you, which you may have experienced to some extent with that magneticism that comes with Scorpio. You have been deemed sexy or sexual without meaning to, just by existing, just by being in your body, just by loving yourself. I am wearing this dress for a reason. I'm channeling what I believe Scorpio energy to be like. I am presenting myself to you in a confident, sexy manner, but not because I want someone to have sex with me right now. And a lot of Scorpios can feel that way. Like, I'm just existing. I didn't ask for you to find me sexy. And so the negative, what I hate about Scorpio is that being ruled by their desire. I have watched Scorpio women literally throw themselves into sexual dalliances with men, almost like self punishment for whatever it is they don't want to think about. So they pile on more experiences that they don't want to think about because it's self sabotage and they don't see it, or they see it and they're not ready to do anything about it. So you've just got to let it go. My problem is I see too much. So if I'm your friend and you genuinely need help, I could help you. But if I'm your friend and you genuinely just want to muck around, then I have to now weigh up what I know versus, what you want me to know, and can I stand keeping my mouth shut because I like to be honest. I like to live an honest existence. That's why me and Scorpio butt heads, you know? It's like I can go to the underworld with you. I've been in the underworld. I was born there. I was raised there. I was forged there. I don't get to show up on the internet. If you knew anything about me, I'm not allowing myself to be seen without having gone to the deep, dark places and the recesses of my mind, right? So, yes, Scorpio people at their worst might be having sex with anything, even if it's within standards that they believe they do have, but like from an outside perspective, it's like you're not really prioritizing anything that would be healthy for you. You're just prioritizing fun. A lot of Scorpio people have Sagittarius placements. So there's this like need for fun, need for freedom, need for sexual freedom. But You know, it's like, but what's the architecture you have to support that? Sagittarians don't give a fuck, so they can do whatever. But Scorpios give many fucks. And so, yeah, some will have too much, some won't have any at all, or you'll find that you are falling for a Scorpio, but then sex becomes like this hurdle that they have to jump over. Okay, let me think of any last words about what I hate about Scorpio. So we've talked about emotionality, aggression is a big one. Um, yeah, I mean, I've already touched on that anyway, but I personally can't handle people that are overly aggressive, and that's probably why I do fall for Scorpio people because it's not as innate, that aggression, for a lot of them. It's there, a lot of it is self defensive. Well, a lot of it is defensive, which is protection of self, you know? But, sex, trauma, deep bonds. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. Thank you so much for waiting. Thank you so much for watching this video. Um, I know I don't like talk about it because I don't like self promotion to a certain extent, but I will ask if you can please like the video if you liked it, comment if you've got something to say, something to add, something to disagree about, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Goodbye.